The movie begins with a 30-year-old, 17-year-old high school student who lives with his 91-year-old Aunt May and Uncle Ben. This is Peter Parker, who has a very Marvel name, like Matt Murdock, Sue Storm, Pepper Potts, Scott Summers, and of course, J. Jonah, Jimmy, Jason, Jackson, Jordan, Jasmine, Jennifer, Jameson, Jr. This guy sucks at eating. Peter has a crush on Mary Jane Watson, who is the only redhead without any freckles. He takes a photo of her on this thing called a camera, which is what people used to take photos on before smartphones were invented. Then this spider decides to eat Peter, so he rushes to a scientist and asks for the antidote. I'm just kidding, he doesn't do that. He obviously races straight off to the hospital and gets treated immediately. I'm again kidding. He goes home and sleeps. Mad scientist in a science lab doing sciencey things. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, that's right, this is a movie, so everything. Well, that seemed unnecessary. Now someone's gonna have to clean that up. Mad scientist Norman Osborn, who does not have a very Marvel name, has created a performance-enhancing serum which he decides to use on himself because he's trying to win the Tour de France after coming a disappointing 16th last year. The science experiment obviously goes wrong, causing Norman to become this movie's villain with side effects of dressing up in a terrifying Halloween costume and calling himself the Green Goblin, which is a very Marvel name, like Otto Octavius, Cletus Cassidy, Kurt Connors, Michael Morbius, and of course, J. Jonah, Jimmy, Jason, Jackson, Jordan, Jasmine, Jennifer, Jameson, Jr. Peter somehow survived that spider bite and developed drastically improved eyesight, so we should probably go back to the scientists and tell them that this species of spiders holds the cure to blindness. At school, Peter finds out that he can also catch things really well and even shoot webs out of his bum, exactly like a spider. I'm just kidding, that would be ridiculous. The webs come out of his wrists. On top of all those powers, Peter also has super strength, speed, agility, sense, taste, invisibility, laser vision, bow and arrow shooting skills, and magic. Okay, some of those he might not have, but at the same time, we don't know for sure that he doesn't have those powers, so he very well could have perfect accuracy with a bow and arrow. Standing triple backflip does not make anyone question how he was able to do that.
Go, Web! Fly! Up, up, and away, Web! Shazam!
What happened to me?
So with all these powers, Peter decides to use them for personal gain, but his Uncle Ben is like,
please don't make the super suit green or animated.
So he makes it red and blue instead and tries it out in a wrestling match in an attempt to win a crappy $2,000 car to impress Mary Jane. Peter wants the superhero name,
The Human Spider.
but that Twitter handle is already taken, so he changes it to
Spider-Man!
He wins the wrestling match, but is only awarded $100 of the $3,000 advertised. That's why you've always got to read the thousands of pages of terms and conditions.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Peter lets a robber escape.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Oh, he freaking got you with your own words. Don't you just look ridiculous. Oh, the robber killed his uncle. Peter graduates high school with the rest of his 30-year-old classmates before getting a freelance job as a photographer for the Daily Bugle newspaper run by the most Marvel name, J. Jonah, Jimmy, Jason, Jackson, Jordan, Jasmine, Jennifer, Jameson, Jr. Now, a newspaper is this thing which people used to read to be informed about the world before Twitter was invented. Hey best friend, I'm dating the girl that you like. That's alright, Harry. I gave her an upside down kissy kiss. What? Nothing? The Green Goblin does villain things like turning these people into 2002 CGI skeletons before fighting Spider-Man. Spider-Man wins the fight, but he has to save Mary Jane, so get used to that, because it happens a lot. Norman practices his acting in the mirror, because he's got a Broadway audition in a couple of days. Round 2, Spidey gets an owie. Norman sees Peter's owie and figures out that he must be Spider-Man, so he kidnaps the unspoken about Weasley child. You can either save a dozen kids, or one person who's in a relationship with someone else. So now that Spider-Man's hands are full, that provides a perfect opportunity for the Green Goblin to strike Spider-Man down. But that doesn't happen because this is a movie and the good guys need a win. So the Goblin waits patiently for Spider-Man to bring the tram and Mary Jane to safety. Alright, now we can fight. Peter finds out that the Green Goblin is actually Norman Osborn, so Norman stabs himself with his own hoverboard because he lost that Broadway audition. Also, he really values his secret identity, unlike Peter Parker, where everyone knows who he is. Osborn is so protective of his identity that his last words are, "Don't tell my son I was this movie's bad guy, or that might motivate him to be the bad guy in the third movie." Peter takes the clothes off a dead Norman Osborn so he can return the body to his son and Peter's best friend, Harry, without revealing revealing that he was the Green Goblin. At Norman's funeral, Mary Jane confesses that she's in love with Peter. That's right, at her ex-boyfriend's dad's funeral, she revealed to another person that she loves him, but Peter's not interested in her anymore. She had her chance. Peter's all about being Spider-Man now. And that is what they call a low-quality recap of Spider-Man. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to obliterate that like and subscribe button. I'm just kidding, only do it with enough force that it registers. I don't want any of you breaking your phones. Also, let me know in the comments what I should recap next. Alright, bye!